We are previewing Week 12 in the NFL right now with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, who's having a great year at his website. Continued it last night with a winner on the under in the Monday night game. And we are going to discuss St. Louis and Cincinnati, an interesting matchup here, interesting handicapping situation. I'm Peter Loshak. You're watching SBR Videos. Joe Duffy, right now Cincinnati is minus 8.5 or 9-point home favorite. The total is 42. And the Bengals, of course, came off of their first loss of the season and went into Arizona, lost again straight up, but did get the cover. They're now an amazing 8-1-1 against the spread on the year. They are off two straight up losses, though. And then the Rams having a lot of issues, right? Case Keenum was the quarterback last game. He didn't play that much better than Foles. And then he had a concussion. Todd Gurley looking like he might be slowing down. And they're having all kinds of issues on the offensive line. Their defense is holding up, though. So the big question is how much of a bounce back will we see from Cincinnati here? And how much of an improvement will we see offensively from St. Louis? Is Gurley going to come back and be a little bit better? Is the offensive line going to be serviceable, or are they going to be in shambles? And what's the deal going to be at quarterback? I could easily see an under here with St. Louis involved, could easily see an over with Cincinnati. It's a tough one. My sense is, though, that we might see a game close to what we saw with St. Louis 2 weeks ago when they got blown out at home by the Bears, 37-13. And because of that, I would lean Cincinnati and the over here. It's a tough one, though. What's your take on this game, Joe?
Well, the Rams' offensive woes are certainly real. First of all, as we do file this, Case Keenum, I know he's still got to do that concussion protocol. I think at this point that they'll most likely go back to Foles because, look, let's face it, Keenum, look, he was a backup quarterback. It was just a case of Foles being benched. It's not like Keenum is the clear-cut starter or anything like that. Number two, because of all the controversy involved, I think if anything, they're probably going to play a conservative and tend to not want to play Keenum this week because if he gets another concussion, it's going to put him really under the microscope. So I wouldn't be surprised if Foles does wind up playing. And if he does, it's kind of like in baseball where you bench a slumping starter. Maybe it'll give him a little bit of a lift. At the end of the day, I think Foles was a clear guy who benefited a couple of years ago from Chip Kelly's system. Although Chip Kelly made some bizarre trades, he was clearly right in knowing that Foles was not really going to be the franchise quarterback. I think Foles is clearly among the bottom rung of starting quarterbacks, although technically now he's a backup quarterback. But if he does start, and look, Gurley's a physical guy. He's probably hit the wall in his rookie year. I am a little bit worried about that. Still, all that said, this is a ton of points. Cincinnati, after starting out perfect, what happened? They've lost back-to-back games. Yeah, so my 33% losers last week, Arizona was one of them. I expected Arizona to not only win but cover, but still, from a psychological standpoint, the fact that the Bengals have lost two straight, Andy Dalton, you got to show me that you can bounce back from adversity. And although the game was a little closer than I thought last week, now he's a huge favorite. I don't know if Marvin Lewis and Andy Dalton, I don't have a lot of confidence in those guys to bounce back from all of a sudden, things aren't going well after that phenomenal start. So I'm going with St. Louis, not so much with St. Louis as it is against Cincinnati.
Really? So you like St. Louis because you think that their defense is going to be strong, or that they're going to be able to hold Cincinnati down, or that Cincinnati will put up the points, but that St. Louis will be able to keep up with them at least enough to cover 9.
I've seen this movie before where the Bengals get off to this great start, and everyone's talking about them being a Super Bowl contender, and then once they hit a bump in the road, they're like a deer in headlights. So I think the Bengals are probably a good team to fade. And again, as you said, they're laying a lot of points to a team that's got a very solid defense. And again, hopefully I'll be a little bit wrong. I do think that Gurley's struggles are legitimate, hitting that rookie wall. But if Foles does play, I do think he could certainly have a bounce back game, rallying around, getting benched. So, but more so, I think catching Cincinnati this week is good for any team in the NFL.
All right, well, I would lean towards the over. It's a low total. Despite St. Louis being involved, 2-7 over-under in their last 9, I would still lean towards the over at 42. Joe Duffy, do you want to give an official pick on this game?
Yes, I will go with the Rams.
Rams +9 is the market-wide number right now. Joe Duffy, I know you're killing it at your website, OffshoreInsiders.com, having a great year, had a great pick call in the Monday night game. Tell us about that. Give a plug for OffshoreInsiders.com, Joe.
It almost is like a broken record. Winning week in college football last week, winning week in the NFL. We've done that quite a few times this year. Literally as great of a year as anyone's going to have in any sport, college and pro combined. Why don't you visit me? I know I got a bunch of premium plays already up college in the NFL. I'm probably going to add a couple more right after I get off of the off of this video with you, but just visit offshoreinsiders.com for all the details off a 12-1 football week again.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, sir.